5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect, right on spot. Welcome. Almost the last presentation on this track, I think. How are you guys? How are you doing? How was FlutterCon for you? Just woo? Okay. So for me, it was amazing. Okay, this is my talk, Mastering IoT-Flutter Integration. So it is basically a journey between integrating Flutter and IoT, both of them being hobbies for me, so don't ask for very senior developer stuff. Well, ask. So let's see, this is me. This is working actually. Okay, I'm a full stack web developer and I'm a WordPress developer. But I found the Flutter 3 years ago, and I was associating the Flutter community with WordPress community, and then I was diving deep into Flutter, and then I fell in love with Flutter, and now I'm Flutter developer. Okay, so this is actually my life, exactly like this. But okay, who of you knows about Flutter? Okay. Yeah. Well, when I initially saw Flutter, I was on YouTube channel from a speaker called Kalle Halden or something like this. And he was trying to build a startup in 10 days using Flutter. And I was like, if Flutter can do that, then why not? And yeah, from my point of view, it is probably the best cross-platform framework. And yeah, I like it because it's open source. I like its community. I like a lot Flutter. Okay, and I like this. Like, why to hire those when you have Flutter? Like, good. So Flutter is a UI framework for me. This is how I understood initially what Flutter is, and now what I will be presenting today is like a very powerful tool to integrate a lot of things, like with a lot of possibilities. And yeah. I feel like if it is one feature that someone can express about Flutter, like what you like the most, like a developer, it's like how to reload. Anything is just like, but this is the main feature of the developer life. And yeah, I love this analogy. So you can be an Android developer, an iOS developer like that. Because being in the past, my object-oriented programming was learned by learning Java and Java for Android, but I never did any Android application. It was like paying an expensive course for Android, but never doing it. So now I'm able to actually write Android applications because of Flutter. Well, the scope of the meeting, Flutter for IoT. So who of you knows about Flutter again, about IoT? Yeah, I was thinking like those will be IoT people and Flutter people, and I need somehow to answer both. So, okay, and I made a GPT joke. This is made by ChatGPT. It's like, why don't Flutter developers play hide and seek with React Native developers? Well, because no matter where they hide, the Flutter devs always stand out with their better UI. This is what ChatGPT wrote. Oh, okay, because it is always this fight between Flutter and React Native. We want to say hello. We are Flutter Bucharest Meetup. Me and Bogdan, actually, we are the part of the organizing team. So this is our wonderful group. When you go in Bucharest, just ping us. We meet in each last Thursday of the month. Yeah. So, and we also live stream on Discord if you want to join us. Those are those wonderful volunteers that are making the meetup happening each month. So. Again, I'm so in love with the community. This is what brought me here. Okay, everything started with this marketplace. I knew that in my WordPress experience, there was a plugin for everything. Like there was a theme and there was a plugin for everything. There's a plugin for that. We had this joke. And then I saw Flutter promoting with there is a widget for that. And I was like, oh, okay, very nice, very similar. It seems like I am on the right spot. And I was curious how those packages are pushed there. Like there is a lot of native functionality that stands in pub.dev and helps us not just reading, like collecting APIs and addressing APIs, but also you have a lot of native bridges between Android and iOS pushed there for free. And I saw that there are some packages types, like the Dart packages, Flutter packages, and Flutter plugins. Who knows the difference between the packages and plugins? Okay, thank you. Everybody's like, man. Okay, yeah, basically the difference, like packages are having Flutter code and plugins are also connecting native code by using, I will mention it in a moment. Also, this is something very interesting. If it happens to work with a lot of libraries, but you don't want to push them on pub.dev, you can use them locally or read them from your personal repository, which is another good thing. Okay. The scope of the meeting, again, IoT. I had to integrate some devices. I had to somehow make it work, and I never knew how to do it, especially native. And then I found really clear explanations in Flutter, and I wanted to share that with you. Basically, what I found is like there is this method channel and event channel that stands for developing Flutter packages, which basically helps integrating native functionalities. Like, for example, you have an iOS native functionality or an Android, like in the demo that I'll make in 2 minutes. That bridge, like this method channel and Flutter and the event channel is helping out to connect with the native application. And I will jump over the description, and I would like to show you a demo. So it happens like in Romania, we have like this cash register business, like is making a lot of cash registers. And they promoted this device on TikTok. I was like sitting at home and swiping. This is important, like this is why you should stay on TikTok. You can see business opportunities. And I saw this device, they were promoting the device, being the only cash register like this in Romania, which means like also being the biggest provider of cash registers in Romania, means like there will be a new marketplace on the market in Romania. So I was like, okay, so interested, how can I reach the boss of this company and then develop for him? And it happened in 2 weeks to have the device in my home in development. So I was like, okay, be careful what you wish for. Okay, and this device, what you see here is an Android 10 device, and it's having a lot of internal stuff, and also you're not allowed by the law, because it's a cash register, you're not allowed to open it. If you break it, like you pay it. If you break it, it's not illegal to use it anymore for collecting card payments and cash payments. So it is having a thermal printer in it, it is having a barcode scanner, also a camera, and also a card reader with NFC chip and all the stuff like magnetic band. So the challenge was to integrate this, and I would like to show you a small demo on how it works, and then to discuss about how I bridged the native functionality from Android, because they gave me an Android SDK. And I was like, okay, how can I put this in Flutter? Because I know Android, but I never did Android applications. Yeah, and I will show you a small demo if everything works. Let's see. I made here a very interesting thing, like, because I'm not allowed to connect it some way and to stream it. But I think you see it very well, yeah? Is it okay for everybody? Okay, so these guys, they are having these cash register machines and they are collecting payments, yeah? But then I was like, okay, my background was in a payment processing company for collecting invoice money, like for utilities, for, I don't know, directory charges and e-money. And I was like, how can I integrate those providers into this device? Because it seems to be a new business in Romania. And basically what you see here, there are some providers that you can pay by scanning the bill, you know, collecting the cash or collecting the card payment and then getting an invoice to the client. And everything is like, you choose the category, this is electricity, yeah? And this is a provider in Romania, and now you have an input method, you have to scan the barcode. So for being really clear, the application is Flutter, yeah? And I have his utility invoice barcode, yeah? So you should press the buttons and then you can scan it. Also from the SDK, you can trigger the beep sound, but I never did it. Okay, so they said like, this is real data, yeah, client code, and it starts here. And I can complete the payment by the card. So the first integration was to read the barcode, yeah, please note. Now I'm introducing the money that I want to collect, and then, sorry. And then I had to bridge the card reader with Flutter. And it seems like I can present my card. I will present it this way. Okay. And, okay. Also, I have an invoice that is printed. And it is printed. This is demo version, like, sorry. Okay. So basically, this demonstrates that Flutter was able to map the native Android application, and also a really beginner in Flutter was able to do it, to prove it, and to get money for the application, which is, again, an important thing. Good. Let's see some code, because I know you like code. Basically, what I created here and the difference between method channel and event channel, I integrated both ways in this application. Why? The method channel is something that allows you to send, a message from Flutter to the native application, and then that native application can process the message and the data, and I don't know, you can read the response, but it's something that you expect to be directly. An event channel is something that can happen without being constrained of the software, and this is the barcode example. When I was scanning the barcode, I don't know really when the person will be scanning the barcode, so I need to listen to it, yeah? I need to use the event channel and to wait for the event of the barcode scanned in order to get the data and to react in my application. And the method channel was used just for sending data to the printer, because I don't care, like, I don't know, I print it and probably I will be reading it from time to time, or the barcode. Also, I use the method channel for the card scanner, because also the events that you saw in that animation are coming like one by another, and you need to catch it. And that was catched by using block, actually, which I'm so proud of. Okay, so this is what exactly stands for integrating the barcode example. Basically, you need to create a bridge between the application, the native application, and the Flutter application by creating a channel. Yeah, you name the channel exactly as you want, and then you can subscribe to it and wait for a value, listening for a value. In this case, this is a block here. When the value the listen function is triggered, then we add another event of process barcode in order to change the animation and to do something into. Okay, so basically this is what I did on the Flutter side. And mostly when I'm receiving the barcode, I'm processing the barcode here, like I'm taking the barcode. This is a call to our Firebase, to our server actually, with the authentication in Firebase. And then we, I don't know, emit the data that we want. I told you that this is real data, yeah? It was like from production. Okay, so basically what you have to do is just to create an event channel instance and to add a callback for the data that comes for that channel. If that channel is not created, you will be having an exception into the Flutter application. On the Android side, also you need to extend and to make it work together. And on the Android side, this is like the Flutter activity. This is like the main activity which extends the Flutter activity by default when you create a Flutter application. This is like the main class. And I created this barcode channel string, okay? And on the Android side, I had to do more. Like I had to cover the cases when the channel is opened, when the barcode is read, so I needed to abstract it more. Okay, but basically this is also very, very simple. It is like I added this barcode receiver, yeah, which triggers by listening to the native intents to the SDK that they gave me. And what I want to, okay, look, when When I start listening to the barcode channel, then it goes like, it starts the receiver, and when I cancel it, it says stop. And when the receiver receives, 1 second, I will be here. This is the receiver. Basically, this is just Java code, whatever you like to do here, but the data that I'm sending to the Flutter back is by using the attach event success method. And this is it. Like, when I was taking the device, and in 1 week, I was getting back integrating all those SDK stuff, and they were like, oh my God. There were some people trying to do it in React Native, and they failed after a few months, and you did it in 1 week. And I was like, yeah, because I'm too smart. No, I was literally reading about it in that moment when I had the device. So this proves that this is something simple. What you see here, there are more particular usage of how to print data, like you can print a fiscal check or non-fiscal check by being a cash register. And yeah, this is mostly what stands for integrating a native functionality from Android for me, actually, because this is my starting project. Good. How is it until now? Boring? You know, it is a little joke that I found from a mentor of mine. He said, like, the guys that are flying those really fast planes, like MiG, if I'm right, they can't communicate because of the sound. But they are like getting together in the air, and they communicate by signs on, like, if you want to ask your brother like how you do it, and they say like 0 or 5. 5 is like I'm okay, and 0 is like I'm not okay, probably I lost a wing or something. So how are you guys? Oh my God, so many 5s. 3 there, yeah, I will do my best. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go further. Questions until now? We can take 3 questions if you want in this moment. Okay, leave it at the end. Good. Sure. FFI channels, yeah. Don't spoil it yet. So yeah, it was a spoiler. Yeah, the next part of the presentation was... So yeah, no, everybody will be like it. Okay, the next challenge is like, I really like robotics, and I really like Raspberry Pi. Like, again, question, who of you knows about Raspberry Pi? Okay. For the ones that they don't know, the Raspberry Pi is a really, really cheap and small computer, and like very good for learners, and they created also some enterprise editions. So yeah. This is running Linux. Well, it is running also Windows, but nobody uses this for IoT and ARM processors, but it is having Linux, and this Linux, it is called Raspbian. Okay, so my first thing when I was seeing Flutter was, how can I put it on that device, not the Linux, like the big Linux, Ubuntu and stuff, like on this device. And yeah, I found out this, that it works. So this is Raspberry Pi for the ones that needs to read it. But we Romanians, we are presenting very bad. Like, I saw here presentations like just memes and really short words, and I was like, oh my God, I have so much text. But we are presenting it very bad because like we want you to have the presentation and actually have an anchor to go to read by. But I don't think it is the case now. So bear with me. Again, ask who of you knows about IoT. Basically, IoT is connecting sensors and output electronics through the internet and collecting their data, like mining their data and whatever. This concept is not so new. Everybody sees like Internet of Things, oh, this is new because of the internet. No, it is somewhere from the 70s, but now it is more democratic and more accessible because we can buy chips and we can program the GPIO on them. Good. And yeah, I talked about Raspberry. Raspberry is having this GPIO interface opened for learners or actually builders. And if you will come after the talk here, you will see a lot of wires here that are connected. That means like for a current between 0 and 5 volts, I can control it the way that I want it, like to read data from a sensor or actually to apply some data. some small currents. Okay, and then I saw this. I was like, okay, I need Flutter for Raspberry. And I was going to the Snap store, I was installing it, I was crying, I was then crying again, I was reinstalling Raspbian, I was trying again to install it, and then I failed. Until I found this repository here on the right, which is FlutterPy. Actually, I had the chance to meet the FlutterPy creator. And I was like, I don't even know if he will be at FlutterCon. And by mistake, I was talking to someone like, look, this Raspberry Pi runs FlutterPy and it's amazing. You know about this repository? And he was like, I created that repository. And I was like, oh my God, man, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is how I got excited. This guy is here. Hello, Hannes. Thank you very much for being here. Yeah, he's an amazing guy. His creation is like, okay, this guy promised like, you can run Flutter on Raspberry Pi. And it turned out that I was able to do it. Again, a very important thing, the Snap version now of the Flutter for Raspberry Pi works on Raspbian, the full version. Yeah, they promote it in Google I/O, so you can actually integrate Flutter with Raspberry. They have this example with a game. Like they ported the game that was in Flutter Forward, I think. They ported on Raspberry Pi, and it works. But then, on Raspberry, they promoted also a light version of the Linux version without the desktop environment. In my case, I don't need the desktop environment. I just need to run a single app because I'm doing self-service terminals. It is supposed that terminal to keep a single application, this is it. So the light version, it is really light. It's somewhere on 300 megabytes, since the full version is over 1 gigabyte. So it is important for me to run Flutter without the whole stuff, yeah? So it seems like FlutterPy, it is also embedding the X11, am I right? Not X11, sorry. It is embedding the desktop engine, yeah, just for the application. And this is what I love the most. So I wait for the Flutter guys to raise up a little the Snap Flutter version to also work with the Raspbian Lite. Yeah, Alex? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, good. So the question was, okay, I'm having Flutter on Raspberry. Look, this is Flutter on Raspberry. Yeah, it looks at you and studies. Okay, but how can I now get used the GPO interface? I want to use the GPO interface. I want to integrate now cache acceptors and thermal printers and everything. How am I supposed to do that? And it turned out that my way of knowing how to integrate that with the method channel, event channel, was not working. Well, probably it works, but I don't know how to cross-compile it, and I don't know C, and I don't know Linux, and it is so hard to keep track with everything, so I wanted the easy way. And I found out this, which is like this FFI thing that Alex was saying, like this is the new thing. Well, this is not so new in the mobile development world. Like Android is already having it, and basically the programming language are having this bridge of communicated with C native code. And this is happening also for Flutter, for Dart actually. And they're having two packages. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'm mentioning this also. Okay, so this FFI comes for the foreign function interface, allows you to call native C code on your platform from the technology that you are using. This is, I tested this in my course in Android, but I forgot everything because I did it so many years ago. So basically, this solves my problem. I can write C code for, I don't know, opening my GPIO, sending some data on some protocols, or at least collecting some data from the application, and then I can interact with Flutter. But this got so hard again for me, because I didn't know how to do it. And actually, I didn't know how to compile a simple C program. I know, I'm a web developer, guys, so I don't know C. But now I know a little. Okay, so it turned out that the FFI library can solve this, and there is also this FFI generator plugin, because it was like, okay, I was writing the library, I was able to communicate with a GPIO natively on the code, like sending data for the library. But how am I supposed to put that in Flutter? It seems to be very hard. And I was looking for the GPIO package and GPIO-D packages that are on path.dev, and that seems to be more harder because you're not allowed to push binaries on the marketplace. So I had, again, to compile it and somehow to make it work. And I found this FFI Gen, which is basically the tool that integrates everything. This FFI Gen plugin is reading the library file, and then after reading the library file, generates the bindings for Dart. So it makes the code to call, like Dart code, to call native functions for you. And this will be the demo, next demo. So also, they promoted very smart. They were like, okay, you can bridge 1 or 2 functions from C to create your bindings and then call them from Dart. But what about like compiling the SQLite library and then calling all those functions? Like there are a few hundred of functions. And they created this FFI Gen just to help you port directly. Good. So this is the next coding part, like the GPIO use case. And I wanted to show you firstly the demo. Okay. Basically, we have not this, but this. Okay. So let's close others. Exactly as I said, I had like, you will see here a relay, yeah, for opening the light, and also distance sensor. So if you go for the relay, basically, well, I found that after generating this code with ChatGPT, it is like there's another simple way to make this possible, but let's stick to the plan. Yeah, this is calling C native code from Dart. So basically, I created some functions that can call and send actually messages to the GPIO control. Yeah, I also have the main function. So this is all my code for doing this. Let me interact you a little. Like, so this is how Flutter looks on Raspberry Pi. No, this is how it looks on Raspberry Pi. But this is the debugging. Okay, so you will see here, like, I don't know if I can also put the camera on to make it simple for you. Okay, let's see. Okay, good. So what you see here is the CPU temperature, the GPU temperature, which are mostly the same because both of them are in the same chip, but yeah. And this is a distance sensor here, which is like, look, reading data second by second. Okay, and also you see 2 buttons here, and I hope they work. Opening the light. Okay, so after I did that, I get bored, so I'm never. Oh, okay, so this proves my point. You can integrate Flutter on Raspberry Pi and also integrate the GPIO. How I did that? Well, this is the scope of this library. Basically, I'm not using set GPIO direction. I'm just using write GPIO for writing the value, which is like a string value, 0 or 1. This is also an example. ChatGPT is very good on generating C code, by the way. Like, it's very, very good. Probably knows a lot of C code. Okay, so I had this library, and I read in the documentation that I need to, like, I had C code, and I need to set up the header files for being able to expose this in a library. So I exposed those 3 methods, but I'm using just write GPIO. And then there's a command, and I'm having it in my clipboard. And let's see, for those that don't know about this, there is an extension called clip menu on Mac that stores the last 20 copy pastes that you make. So I'm having a multi-clipboard here. Okay, so the command for that, okay, you're supposed to create this file, which is in the documentation. Yeah, the file name, description, the library, and the output file that I want for the bindings that I will be keeping in my Dart application, and the entry points. The entry points being the H file from my GPIO library. And after I run this command, I'm not running it now because I don't want to. Like, let's see, it's supposed to work. Okay, basically into the, well, it is in another folder. Okay, into this folder, lib folder, I will find the GPIO bindings library, which is basically this bridge between the Dart code and my Flutter application. And you will see here expose like set GPIO method, the right GPIO. Oh my God, this is so hard to understand. I knew about garbage collection. Like I was like, someone mentioned in my Java course that you don't need to make garbage, to have a garbage collector. You just need to clear the, it is done by itself. Sorry, I was looking at the timer and I missed it. So because of calling native C code, basically you need to do the garbage collection also if you use pointers. This is what I wanted to mention. Okay, so this is the right GPIO function, which is like porting a char value to the right GPIO that is wrapped by. And the implementation, and to be very clear, it took me 4 weeks to do that, yeah, which is like 3 lines. But I know, Hannes, I know. He's like, you can do it faster, yeah. So I created a final variable here, and then I'm using the GPIO class, which is basically the name of the, it comes from the generator, but it is the name of the binding class. It is GPIO, yeah. And then I use this dynamic library to open the SO file that stands on my Raspberry Pi. Basically, the code, the C code, is compiled natively on Raspberry Pi, and then I can call that by Flutter. So if I'm compiling the library on my Mac, probably it will not work on the Raspberry Pi. So this is why I need to compile it first on Raspberry Pi. And this is actually the path where the file is, yeah? And after I created this GPIO library instance, let's see. Well, if I press on the on button, this is something deprecated here. If I press on the on button, yeah, they will send this value pointer. This is something that comes also from, I think, from the FFI package. They are giving also the conversion methods, the casting methods. And also, I need to free the pointer that was there. And if I go for the on, for the off button, I'm sending, basically I'm sending 0 and 1 as a string, but it is more complicated. So this is the implementation of calling the method that was on initializing the library, here, the bindings. And this was for generating the Dart file by using the H file. And this was it, like, so simple. And now, yeah, you can see how it is working. Actually, I have also in console. This is the log that you see here is coming from the C library, not from, but you can also use the log there. So this is it. Okay, another mention, very good mention. If you are having a simple, like if you calculate pi function, for example, pi number, yeah? If you calculate it on the C native code than using the math.dart library, it will be way faster using it with FFI, like reading the library, than to use the math.dart library. Well, it makes sense why the math.dart library is more expensive, but this is very nice to understand how fast those things are working. So, yeah. It is fast. Okay, let's see. Okay, those are the packages that are, now I know how to compile them and how to use them, but before I was like just, so if you want to already have a lot of GPIO functionality on demand, just go download the packages, use the FFI, compile it on Raspberry. Or I think you need to cross-compile it, yeah? Because if you can compile it exactly on Raspberry, no? Yeah. They are not allowing you to push the binaries to the store. those are all the references that I read for those 3 lines of code, and more of that, but probably I missed some of them.